Breaking news. Hey, they say me local papa, they don't say and say for Chicago, he no go and for university. So, however the case may be, Mona see waiting courts talk concerning that case. And our court they stand put Gidigba say, for them, they not give INEC access or power, may INEC they verify person will be say can go school or you not go school. But why be say now people will be say them be photoshots na in Nigeria they always they get. And when you go talk, now the same people now they'll constantly come they meet you, come they tell you say why you they talk like that. As Nigeria be so they sweet una. But anyhow, mona see wetin they happen right now for inside tribunal.
Of either the APC or Labour Party sees anything wrong in Jandor PDP candidacy and his qualifications, as there's nothing in their responses to PDP petition that suggests that. Joining us now on the morning show as we take a look at the Election Petition Tribunal and their proceedings is Liberos Oshoma, a lawyer, and Ahmed Buhari, a public affairs analyst and vice presidential candidate, African Democratic Congress ADC in the 2023 election. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, I'll start with you, Mr. Oshoma, because you've been here with us even during the election itself. And we've seen the tribunals play out. I'm sure you've monitored some states. What's your general overview? Again, against the backdrop of all eyes on the judiciary, how well, I don't know if you're the best person to ask, as a lawyer yourself, has this been conducted in terms of the judiciary?
Yeah, all eyes on the judiciary first and foremost. Just that here we overflog issues, very sentimental. Naturally, like Lord Dennis said, when a judge sits on trial, the judge is on trial. And so when you're trying a matter, the entire world is trying you. Mm-hmm. And so it's this, there's nothing out of the ordinary when people say all eyes on the judiciary. You know, but just that we're very sentimental about it, and it now becomes as if there's something, you know. But also the attitude, the situation where you now try to, you know, what you call mob lynch, online lynching of a particular, you know, organ of government. That's what I frown about. But there's nothing wrong with, you know, fixing your eye on what's actually happening around you. But that said, also against the backdrop of my knowledge and experience at election petition tribunals, I've handled quite a lot since 2003. Proving election irregularity is usually very difficult. It's a very tall order because consistently the Supreme Court has said that you need to prove polling unit by polling unit. And it must be the agents of the party that witness what transpired at the polling unit. And if you're talking about collation, then it must be your agent at the collation center. So what most of these candidates do, or most what the petitioners do, they know that that area is a tall order. So they look out for the technical areas, qualification, of candidates. And so most of the judgment that had been delivered, starting from the one in Delta, you know, dwells on qualification of candidate. And because also the court has said that qualification is both a pre-election and post-election issues. And so you find out that, so what petitioners do, they don't want to bother themselves with all of those tall orders of having to prove irregularity polling unit by polling unit, because it becomes a very difficult one. So they look out for, you know, is this candidate qualified, where the primaries validly, you know, conducted by people who should conduct the primaries, and at the qualification, at the certificates tendered by the candidates, you know, are they, you know, verified, and where the certificate forged. So those are the issues they all look out for, because those ones are easy for you to prove. And one issue that consistently, even in the Lagos State Election Petition Tribunal, is that issue of qualification and membership of a political party. And so you see that a recurrent decima in most of the election tribunals, especially given the fact that, you had a new wind, a new kid on the block, that's the Labour Party. And so there were a lot of contentions that by virtue of Section 77 or so of the Electoral Act, not belonging to a political party 30 days before the election, that's, was a ground for disqualification. So these are most of the issues that, keep reoccurring, and then all of those things. Therefore, Lagos State, the issue, there was a contention also on the validity of the Nigerianness of the deputy governor. All of these are what the court will eventually rule on.
Okay, so I'll come to you first, Ahmed. In terms of what you see from how the election in Lagos State has gone and what you see in terms of what is happening in the tribunal at the moment, one of the things that's been raised, yes, qualification and issues of membership of the political party. I don't know why this is almost consistent and it happens almost all the time with almost every election. Is this an INEC issue? Should INEC be held to account when it comes to issues like this? And then secondly, when we have election petition tribunal issues and the parties involved, especially when you have this kind of tripartite issue like APC, PDP, and Labour, should there be a kind of merger arrangement that means that 2 against 1, or should they still be all the 3 parties competing in the courts, and what do we expect to be the outcome of this? Is this going to be a case of Lagos State will have APC and Labour disqualified and automatically it goes to PDP? Is that a possibility?
Thank you for having me. Yes, it's a possibility. Anything can happen, and clearly from what Liberal Shoma just stated out in the studio in Lagos, it's obvious that there's been cases around qualification and sponsorship of candidates in political parties. And you did ask me if this is a Nigerian issue or if it's an INEC issue. I think it's an INEC issue in the sense that it needs to validate these documents before it tenders it as valid documents, number one. Number two, it's a party issue. Political parties should not be in too much of a hurry to tender these documents without making sure that their aspirants are qualified to actually contest in primaries, because at the end of the day, you need a sponsor that is going to put you out there to contest for a general election. And then thirdly, it's a Nigerian problem. I think this is a wake-up call to all of us, from politicians to people who have been inducted as ministers today, to ensure that every single step of the way you ensure that your documents are correct, from the names you use to how you use the names, because whether we like it or not, some of those names do look like they've been forged. We've seen the case of Delta State, where clearly the House of Rep member, Honorable Ngozi, has been actually disqualified by the tribunal on the grounds that he's not a member of the political party, Labour Party. It means that whether we want to look at it from any angle, if his name does not appear on the membership register of the Labour Party in Delta State, indeed, there is a problem. Similarly, I was going through documents from the Lagos State Tribunal, and I think the Jando PDP angle of the conversation at the tribunal did present certified true copies of the Labour Party's membership register, and clearly the name of the man who stood in favor of the Labour Party that was sponsored by the Labour Parties, his name didn't appear on the register. So for many members of the Labour Party, they have been having this conversation and they say it's a pre-election matter and it cannot be discussed. But Section 177C of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, requires that you must be a member of a political party to contest or to be sponsored by that political party. Similarly, in Kano State, you cannot rule out Honorable Afis Bayero of the APC, who sent to courts, who took to the tribunal the NNPP candidates, on the honorable who won in NNPP, and said clearly that he has discrepancies in his certificates, and on that ground, the tribunal has actually sacked the NNPP candidate, and you know, is the same thing that the PDP is also presenting in Lagos State with regards to Governor Sanwo-Olu, who INEC was subpoenaed to come to the court to present the results that Governor Sanwo-Olu presented as his results in the 1981 WAEC that he sat for, and his name was not found because the name on that result sheet from WAEC has discrepancies with what he presented to the court.
Ahmed, please, most of these matters are sub judice and are testimonies that are presented in court. We don't want to be fined for contempt of court. Please, let us allow the court to do their work.
Yes,
right?
I agree with you totally.
Please, Mr.
I totally
Kayode,
agree with you. And the reason why I bring in... I agree with you totally, and the reason why I'm discussing all of this is because these have become public documents that I have actually had the privilege to see.
Until judgment,
I don't think they are hidden anymore.
Until judgment is delivered by the court, we can't discuss it. Even if it is public document at the moment, we can't discuss the details of papers or documents presented to court, so that we avoid getting into that situation where we run into problem with the court. So yeah, very quickly then, so that we can ask Liberos to expand on it, or let me quickly come back to Liberos.